Hello, citizens. Welcome back to another edition of the Terry Van Dangle program. That's me. I'm Terry. How we doing today? I'm well. I hope you are too. Football is back. I'm excited. I know you are too. I've got rankings. We're going to talk about them. We got about, let's see, we've got what? 49 minutes till kickoff. Let me see if we got any injury updates. Let's take a look. Here we go. This is the inactive players. Let's see. For the Bucks, Chris Godwin is definitely not playing. That's probably all we need to know for that. Darnell Mooney is not going to be playing for the Falcons. Pretty sure we all knew that Godwin wasn't going to be playing. Starting Buka. No Darnell Mooney. I don't know who that would really... who's their next one up? I guess Ray McLeod might get some extra bonus usage. Shedeur Sanders, emergency third quarterback. He's inactive. For the Browns... Dolphins, Jalen Wright is out, so Ollie Gordon is a play. Colts, everyone looks good. Panthers, Jimmy Horn is out. I'm pretty sure we knew that too. Xavier Legette should be a solid flyer option if need be. I would definitely start Ted McMillan. I think we all knew Mostert was going to be out. Genty's going to be good. Efton Chisholm is out for the Patriots. Tommy DeVito is the emergency quarterback. Everybody good for the Cardinals, fantasy-wise. Everybody good for the Saints, fantasy-wise. Steelers good. Alan Lazard is out for the Jets. Looks like Neighbors is fine. Is not on the report for the Giants. Commanders. Chris Rodriguez Jr. is inactive. Okay, so JCM might go up a little bit. We might have to take a look at if that affected him at all. We don't have anything for the late games yet. Okay. Let's see if that affected JCM at all. Let me actually get you guys into the same screen we're on. Alright, let's see if that affected JCM at all. Or Eckler. We're looking for running backs. Oh yeah. That definitely affected Jakrowski, Merritt, and Eckler. So he's going to be, what was that? 46.5. He's actually got receiving stats. 7.7 on how many catches? 1.3. What's the anytime touchdown at? Still 0.4. If middle load for me, come on. We can do it. We can do it, baby. Come on. There he is. 0.5 now. It went up. That's going to boost him. That's going to boost him pretty good. That is going to boost him pretty good to a 9.72. And let's see what that did to Eckler, too. See if that affected him at all. So he's going to be 19.3 now. Damn, how did he go out and now his... Oh, because I'm looking at receiving yards. Never mind. Okay. 0.3 here now. Let's see what his rushing yards are at. Probably went up. 29, yep. 29.6. Catches. 2.8. Up a little bit. Anytime touchdown. Plus 135 now. Would still be 0.4. All right, yeah. So that would definitely bump them up a little bit, those two guys. So there's that. So there is that. That's good news to have. I think that was all that we had for the moment. So let's take a look at the rankings. I don't think anything else should be affected. Let's make these a little bit bigger so you guys can actually see them. That should work, right? Yeah, that's better. All right, so number one, Lamar Jackson, 21.482. He's going to be your number one fantasy quarterback this week. This is probably a tier of 3, maybe 4. You could put Burrow either at the bottom of this top tier or at the top of the second tier probably. But the number one, Lamar Jackson with the 21.48. Just below him, Josh Allen, 21.32. Jaden Daniels, 21.03. Joe Burrow, 19.606. That's probably tier 1. If you have any of those guys, obviously you're starting them. The next tier here would be probably these three guys, I would say, Baker, Kyler, and Bo Nix. Number 5, Baker Mayfield, 18.1 projected points. Kyler Murray, 18.05 projected points. Bo Nix, 17.88 projected points. That would probably be tier 2. Again, this tier, if you have them, you're starting them. This would be the next tier here. Probably anybody getting you 16 points. Trevor Lawrence, Drake May, Brock Purdy. Number 8, Trevor Lawrence at 16.89. Drake May, 16.52. Brock Purdy, 16.11. Next, we got a big old tier here. Anyone in this tier, this would be number 11 for today. CJ Stroud, 15.57. Tua, 15.54. Jared Goff, 15.46. Justin Fields, 15.29. Jordan Love, 15.21. Caleb Williams, 15.02. These are all projected points from their player props over the sports books that betting site takes into consideration. All right, this next tier would probably be these guys right down to here. Any of these 14. Anybody getting you 14 from 17 to 23, it's going to go Bryce Young, number 17, 14.918, so almost like 14.92. Then J.J. McCarthy right under him at 14.91. Next, we got Daniel Jones, 14.8. Matt Stafford, 14.69, 14.7, pretty close. Geno Smith, 14.66, 14.7-ish points. Russell Wilson, 14.3. Michael Penix, exactly 14, 14.04. We'll round that down. That would be the next tier. These would be guys in 2 quarterback leagues. If you're in a 1 quarterback league, you probably, I would imagine, not have to be worried about starting one of these guys. If you were thinking about it, Matthew Stafford, I think, is just down here because nobody's really sure about his health. Bryce Young looked pretty good at the end of last year. J.J. McCarthy is with an offensive coach that basically just makes quarterbacks good. And then if you want a flyer down here, we got these guys in this tier down here. Joe Flacco, 13.86. Aaron Rodgers, 13.82. Darnold, 13.56. Cam Ward, 2.93. Spencer Rattler, 2.66. I wouldn't recommend starting anybody in this tier except possibly Joe Flacco because he will be most likely hucking because that Cincinnati offense can score. And the thing about that is their defense can't stop people from scoring, so it might be a shootout, and that would be good for Joe Flacco or anybody in that Cleveland. Anybody in that game is really fantasy relevant today. You can take a shot on anybody in Cleveland, Cincinnati, and you'll probably be safe. All right, let's move on to Sunday running backs. Now that we got new rankings, now that we got updated new rankings with guys that are out, Bijan Robinson, far and away the number 1 with 18.47. I would say that the top 4 guys are the tier here. Achane looks good to go. Hopefully there's no re-aggravation of the injury while in the middle of a game, because that is the worst. Number 1, Bijan Robinson, 18.47. Number 2, McCaffrey. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. McCaffrey, 17.57. Jahmyr Gibbs, 17.4. Devon Achane, 17.27. Next tier would probably be, I would say, like these right down to here. Any of these low 16 to 15 guys. Bucky Irving, number 5, 16.1. Chase Brown, 16, basically even. Jonathan Taylor, 15.93. Derrick Henry, 15.93. Tied basically for 7th. Number 9, Josh Jacobs, 15.57. Alvin Kamara, number 10, 15.17. I guess you could probably put Kyron Williams in the bottom of this tier because he's almost at 15. Again, any of these guys, if you have them on your team, they are going to be in your starting lineups. Let's talk about this next tier here. No, we don't want to go that far. We don't want to go that far. All right, these 5 guys. I'm hungry. I'm getting hungry. Number 12, Ashton Jenney, 14.62 projected. Number 13, James Cook, 13.97 projected. James Conner, 13.93. Chuba Hubbard, 13.74. Kenneth Walker, 13.33. All of these guys also most people start 2 running backs, so all of these guys are also pretty safe. If you have them, you're probably playing them. Now we're getting into the that other territory of depending on the type of league you're in. God damn it, why does it always do that? It's our next 6 guys. They're probably still guys that you're most likely going to be starting too. So number 17, Aaron Jones, 12.87 points. Tony Pollard, number 18, 12.87 points. They're tied. Number 19, Travion Henderson, 12.58. Jerome Ford, number 20, 12.41. Definitely no Quinshon Judkins today. I probably would not trust Dylan Sampson to be that involved quite yet. So I would imagine Jerome Ford's going to get the bulk of the series, if you will. Same thing with Jalen Warren. I don't think Caleb Johnson's ready quite yet. This one is a little scary. Breece Hall. They've been talking about using Braylon Allen a lot in the offseason, so be cautious with Breece Hall. If you need to start him, obviously he's probably better than most of the guys in the tier below him. But if you have better options, definitely do not roll him out today. All right, next we're down to guys that'll get you 10 points. Tyrone Tracy, number 23, projected to get 11.23. Number 24, DeAndre Swift, projected for 11.09. Austin Eckler, David Montgomery, Travis Etienne, and RJ Harvey all projected to get basically 10 points. Austin Eckler is probably going to be the most... I mean, with just the 2 of them there, I wouldn't be surprised if, with Austin Eckler's age and the fact that they've been hyping the kid up anyway, the whole offseason, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a 50-50 split between these 2 guys today. Between Jaworski Merritt and Austin Eckler. I would not be surprised if he had a breakout day. What was scary about JCM today was the fact that there was going to be Chris Rodriguez in the game plan. So it would have been basically, splitting between 3. Now it's only splitting between 2. Obviously, your usage is going to go up. Good things can happen. Okay, yeah, starting here with Jaworski Merritt down to... I mean... all of these guys are basically the same to me. Anybody down here, right to about here. I would, obviously, JCM is probably a little higher up on that list with the fact that we know that there's going to be no Chris Rodriguez. I would honestly put him more in this tier up here. Let's actually get him out of there. Any of these players down to here, down to Braylon Allen. J.K. Dobbins going to be probably splitting with R.J. Harvey, like we said. Zach Charbonnet, when he does his best work when Kenneth Walker is not playing and Kenneth Walker is playing today. So, unless you're desperate, I cannot see starting Zach Charbonnet. Ramondre Stevenson, same thing. He's going to be splitting a lot of work with Travion Henderson, and the way that it looked in the preseason, they're going to probably be leaning not terribly more heavily on Travion Henderson, I would imagine, at first. But Ramondre Stevenson he's a guy. He's a guy. Nick Chubb is starting. Again, that's a wild card backfield. Nobody knows how that's going to be used. Dylan Sampson should get some run today just because there's nobody else there. Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne could easily flip-flop in their roles today. They could start using Tank Bigsby more. I've heard that that's another wild card backfield where everything's up in the air. Then we have Jordan Mason and Braylon Allen. Kind of the same thing that I've heard with the other 2 guys that we talked about. They say that Jordan Mason is the 1B to the Aaron Jones 1A. I'd like to see it before I believe it. And then also Braylon Allen, same thing. They're talking about him being a big part of the offense, but Vegas doesn't believe that's quite accurate yet, as he's only projected for 24 yards today. And then guys down here, Caleb Johnson, Trey Benson, I wouldn't. And obviously Chris Rodriguez has been announced inactive for the day. All right, we're looking at wide receivers now. Obviously Jamar Chase, number 1, projected for 20.96 fantasy points, and then Justin Jefferson in a distant second, but also far ahead of third, so we'll keep him in that top tier with 19.16. Obviously, those guys are going in your lineup today. Malik Neighbors, he is one of the guys that went up the draft board today, or up the projection board. He jumped ahead of Nico Collins and Brian Thomas Jr. I believe he was below them when I did the rankings in my video. Malik Neighbors up to 17.39 fantasy points projected today. Nico Collins with 17.19. Brian Thomas Jr. 17.11. Again, if you have these guys on your team, they're in your lineup. Doesn't matter. Same thing with this tier. Puka Nacua, Mike Evans, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Just a little bit below those other guys, but probably ahead of the next tier. Puka Nacua, 16.7. Mike Evans, number 7, 16.61. Amon-Ra, number 8, 16.55. Projected fantasy points for the day. Same thing with this tier. Most leagues you start at least 2 wide receivers. So pretty much any of the top 24 guys we're talking about here, you're most likely going to be putting in your lineup. All right, probably these next 4 guys, maybe even down to Jerry Jeudy, I would say, because he's going to be in that matchup that we were talking about earlier, the Cincinnati-Cleveland matchup. They should be throwing a lot in that game. They should be airing it out. But anyway, number 9 would be Drake London, 15.69 projected fantasy points. Tyreek Hill, number 10, with 15.5. T. Higgins, we've talked about this, 15.12. Terry McLaurin, 14.71. Number 13, Jackson Smith and Jigba, 14.18. Devontae Adams, number 14, 14.2. All those guys are pretty safe to start. Same thing down to, like I said, Jerry Jeudy we talked about. Cortland Sutton is the number 1 option in Denver for Bo Nix. So he would start this next year. Probably going to go down, I would say, to... Let's see how much further it goes down. Probably down to here to DJ Moore, 13.8 to 12.8. Cortland Sutton, Zay Flowers, 13.47. Here's another guy that shot up the board this morning, Ted McMillan, 13.33 fantasy points. Both of his projections, the yards and the receptions, were up from when I made them on the video the other day. Number 19, DK Metcalf, 13.19 points. This is a guy I want to talk about because he is going to be most likely covered by Sauce Gardner today, and that is a tough draw. So be careful with DK Metcalf. Obviously, if he is one of your top guys and you have to play him, you have to play him. But if you have an option like down in this, maybe, down in this other tier down here or something that you might want to take a shot with, might not be a bad day. Marvin Harrison Jr., 12.98. Garrett Wilson, 12.87. DJ Moore, 12.86. Next, we're going to move down to this tier here. It's probably going to be guys down to about... I think it honestly ends here. I think it breaks a little bit after that. So these are guys that if you didn't like somebody up in this tier, the DK Metcalf, perhaps, I think Emeka Egbuka is going to smash today. He's projected for 12.68. Jalen Waddle, also a player that I like today, 12.49. I think he's the better receiver at this point in Miami. I think most people would agree with me on that. Jacoby Myers, 12.14 points. He is going to be probably the 3rd option in that offense behind Brock Bowers and Ashton Jeanty now. So we'll see what happens with all the new pieces there. They also added a bunch of young receivers that they want to try. So we'll see what happens. Chris Olave, he's healthy. Going against Arizona. 11.89 fantasy points projected. We finally got some projections for these San Francisco wide receivers, which is nice because we didn't have them in the video. Ricky Pearsall, Michael Pittman, Calvin Ridley, Jameson Williams, Juwan Jennings, Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, probably all the way down to Travis Hunter or Deebo Samuel. All these guys are probably in one tier. Guys that I might like from this tier would probably be, obviously Ricky Pearsall I think is a good option today. Stephon Diggs is like the only real option in New England for Drake May, so we'll see how their chemistry looks. Jameson Williams just signed a very big deal. There was another guy that I wanted to talk about that was going up against a really good cornerback, and I can't remember who it was. Let me look. It was definitely DK Metcalf. Oh, it was in this tier. It was Calvin Ridley. He's going to be going up against mostly Patrick Surtain today. You don't normally like to target guys that are in that situation. It's normally not the best spot. Travis Hunter cut his hair off today. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it happened. And then Deebo Samuel, he could be used in the run game too, so that's a wild card for him as well. He could add a point or two if he can break one. All right, next we are down to this tier here probably. I would bring it down to maybe here. Nah, I think this is it. Number 36, Khalil Shakir. That game is, I think, one of the biggest totals of the day, so there could be a lot of offense in that one. 10.76 projected points. Roma Dunze is another guy I think could become the best wide receiver in his offense this year. I think he could overtake DJ Moore. They drafted him really high. I can't see them not using him in some form or fashion. Same thing with Colston Loveland. I see that you're going to see that his projections are pretty low this week, but I think that's more just because they're both kind of still wild cards in the offense. They're not sure how Ben Johnson's going to do anything in that offense yet. So, I mean, we've seen it with previous iterations of the Lions, but, you know, different guys, different things. We'll see what happens. And also, he wasn't the head coach. Now he's got basically complete say of how he runs that team. So, we'll see what happens. Next, Matthew Golden. He's projected for 10.37. I haven't gotten word on Jaden Reed yet. If Jaden Reed is out of this game, obviously the other two wide receivers, him and Romeo Doubs, Matthew Golden and Romeo Doubs, will be way better plays, but we probably won't know that until, I would imagine, later. That game doesn't start until later, right? Yeah, that's a 4 o'clock game. Why isn't it not showing? Oh, there it is. Never mind. Because I wasn't looking, because I'm an idiot. Where were we? Matthew Golden. Okay, we talked about him. Josh Downs, 10.18 points. This might be a hotter take than the other two guys, but I also think Josh Downs could be the number one receiver in the Indianapolis Colts offense this year. I think that he could be better than Michael Pittman. If Daniel Jones can find some way to get these guys the ball, I think he would be the number one receiver here. Number 40, Rashid Shaheed, 9.98 points. Number 41, Keon Coleman. I've heard great things out of camp about Keon Coleman this year, coming into his second year. From what I understand, he's going to be a different player, and I hope it's right because he's fun to watch, fun to root for. 9.52 points, number 41 on list, and then again, Cedric Tillman. Anyone in that Cleveland-Cincinnati game, I love today. Now we are down to the nitty and the gritty. This is, guys, if you're kind of desperate, you might take a chance. I would bring it down to here. Everything else is a true dart throw. Marvin Mims, he's the number 2 option in Denver. He is going to be projected for 8.86 points. Rashad Bateman, number 2 option in Baltimore, 8.82 points. Like I said, Jaden Reed, 8.54 points. He may play, he may not. I haven't gotten an official word yet. Wan'Dale Robinson, the number 2 option for the Giants, 8.44 points. Adam Thielen, the new number 2 option for the Minnesota Vikings at 8.4 points. Romeo Doubs, 8.37 points. That number could shoot up. Same thing with Matthew Golden, like we talked about in the last year. That could be a bit higher if Jaden Reed doesn't play. Demario Douglas, the number 2 option for the New England Patriots, 8.17 points. Here's somebody who got added late today because Christian Kirk is out. Jaden Higgins. Projected for 7.56 fantasy points on 3 catches, 33.6 yards, 0.2 on the anytime touchdown. I was pretty high on him coming into the season, but then they got Christian Kirk, so that kind of made me cool off. But now there's no Christian Kirk today. So we're back on the Jaden Higgins train. And then Tyler Lockett is technically the number 2 option in Tennessee for what that's worth. That is about all I would start. Any of these other guys down here, Joshua Palmer, Jalen Naylor, Michael Wilson, Dante Thornton, Calvin Austin, Darius Slayton, Alec Pierce, Torrey Horton, Tutu Atwell, Alec Manor, all third options, I'm pretty sure, other than like Michael Wilson is technically the number 2 receiver. but really he's the number 3 because he's behind Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride, who we'll talk about here in a second. Dante Thornton could maybe be the second option. I'm not quite sure. Calvin Austin, technically the second option in Pittsburgh, but who's counting? Darius Slayton, Alec Pierce, blah. Torrey Horton is a rookie that I've been high on for a while. I don't think that he could overtake the number 1 spot in this offense, but he could overtake Cooper Kupp, especially if Cooper Kupp starts with his Cooper Kupp things, which we all know what that's about. And then we got Tutu Atwell and Alec Manor down here as the literal definition of flyers. Brock Bowers, the number 1 tight end on the board this week. Projected for 15.5 fantasy points. Does he stand alone? I was trying like hell to get Trey McBride in the same tier as Brock Bowers, but it looks like from what Vegas is telling me, he's not. He's a point behind him. A full 1.1 points behind Brock Bowers. So I guess we're going to put Brock Bowers in his own realm today. He's going to be the clear A number 1 tight end option for week 1. Number 2 is Trey McBride, projected for 14.4 points. He is also a very good option. If you have him on your team, you're starting him. Number 3, also the same thing. Probably number 4 is sneaking into that range too, just because he is in that game that we've been talking about all day. George Kittle, number 3, 13.33 fantasy points. David Njoku, number 4, 13.08 fantasy points. And then we got this tier here. We're gonna go all the way down to Tyler Warren. Any of these guys, if you have them, I would suggest starting them. Unless you have one of these other 4 guys. But if you have 2 of these 4, I mean, unless you're Dynasty, I guess Dynasty it's very possible. Like in Dynasty, I have TJ Hawkinson, Evan Ingram, and 2 guys from the next tier. So it is possible. I'm starting TJ Hawkinson over Evan Ingram today. But number 6 would be Mark Andrews at 10.66. That game should be fun to watch. I think that's going to be the best game of the weekend as far as like good football. I think the most fun game to watch could be Cleveland and Cincinnati, but I think the best football game of the weekend is going to be tonight at Buffalo between Baltimore and the Bills. Number 7, like I said, is TJ Hawkinson, 10.55 points. Sam Laporta's number 8, 10.03. Evan Ingram, 9.64. Tyler Warren, number 10, rounding out the top 10. Actually, I forgot to resort these. I took out the players from the games from the week, earlier in the week. Alright, so then number 9 would be Tyler Warren, projected for 9.44 fantasy points. Now we're in any of these guys down here, pretty much any of them. If you don't have one of these top 9 guys, if you're in a 12-man league and you're one of the 3 guys that don't have one of the guys in the top 9, pretty much any of these guys are about as risky as the other one. Number 10, Zach Ertz, 8.72. Number 11, Tucker Kraft, 8.65. 12, Hunter Henry, 8.19. Dalton Kincaid, number 13, 8.07. Kyle Pitts. Sad to see him slip like this. 7.94. Chike Okonkwo. This is one that I really do like because most of the time he was going undrafted. I would almost guarantee that he's available in your league if you need a guy. A rookie quarterback's best friend is his tight end. It's a tale as old as time. So do with that information what you will. 7.77 points. Kate Otten, number 16, 7.74. Brenton Strange, number 17, 7.67. And Dalton Schultz, 7.54. Now we've got the true dart throws down here. If you're going to start anybody from down in this range, it's most likely Colson Loveland. He's got the best stuff, if you will. Ben Johnson likes to use tight ends. He made a star out of Sam Laporta. He could probably do the same thing with Colson Loveland. And then the rest of these guys are just guys. If you can't get one of those other guys, good luck. If I had to like rate these guys, it's basically like this, just because that's what Vegas is telling me to do. I wouldn't put anybody in any different order than this. Maybe I've heard good things about Theo Johnson in New York. I've heard good things about Mason Taylor in New York. They're all rookies. There it is. Those are my rankings for the day. So that's fun. Let's see if we got any breaking news. 10 minutes left. Now it looks like everything's staying the same. Nothing new, nothing new. Yeah, we're good. I think we're good on that. So, now I gotta set my lineups. Now we gotta set the lineups. Gonna go to the Hertz Donut Bakery. Hertz has already started. Hampton has already started. I don't think we need to change anything here. We got Tet and McMillan. Let's check our rankings. I believe all of these other guys are down here. I'm gonna roll the dice with CMC. I'm not gonna start Ramondre Stevenson over CMC. We're rolling the dice. I've got a lead. Oh man, she's already gotten a 1.8 from AJ Brown. So even if I did get a 0, it would kind of just like even itself out. I am a big fan of Chuba Hubbard today, though. And Lamar Jackson tonight, obviously. And she's got the stack with Mark Andrews. She's starting Aaron Jones in her offensive player spot. I mean, over Cam Ward, I can see it. I think I'm good. We're gonna roll the dice in this league. I think we're good here. Let's look at the rankings. I just want to make sure the wide receiver rankings that I have. I know I have Tet over. Who are my other options? Rome and Travis Hunter, and yeah, I have Egbuka above them too. So we're sticking with that. We're sticking with that. Tyler Warren, like we spoke about, he's in one of those top 9 guys that if you have him, you start him. We don't have a backup anyway. And then Jake Bates, same thing. We're going to just roll with the kicker we drafted because they make you draft a kicker here. All right, let's go to Drake and Josh because we got Josh Allen and Drake May in this league. Already started Hampton, already started McConkey. Let's see what the... No, we're not starting any of those receivers over Nico Collins. So right now our it would be Trevion versus Aaron Jones, I guess. I'm pretty sure that Trevion is over Aaron Jones. There's Trevion at 19. Where do I have Aaron Jones? No, I have Aaron Jones at 17. I mean, it's not a huge difference. So they're all locked. I don't think we're going to start anybody that we have over Bucky, Achan, Puka. They're all good. Like I said, we're starting Honk. The only other option I would have for McMillan would be DK Metcalf, and we talked about that. I don't really like DK Metcalf today. I guess I could start... No, I'm not going to start Egbuka over him. We have him clearly over Egbuka. Yeah, I think that's it. But what did I want to look at? I wanted to look at Aaron Jones... Or is that only in the app? Will it show me that? I know it will give me... Alright, so Chicago's 27th against the run, is what they're telling me. And... Trevion? You know, I'm not... Here's why I'm not going to do this. Because I don't want to have to root for Aaron Jones in one league and not root for him in another. Las Vegas does technically have a better... Yeah, we're going to roll with Trevion Henderson because I don't want to have to root for him in this league and then root against him in another league. It would, you know what I mean? All right, I think we're good. With 4 minutes left to spare, we did it. Let's go.